Right then, guys, I hope you're ready for the big one, because today, when we're looking at the island at the end of everything, we will be exploring inferences. So, we know that inferences are taken directly from the text, and we have to justify them with evidence. So that's picking up the words, the phrases, the clauses that enable us to make an opinion on what is going on. We know that inferences are all about putting ourselves in the shoes of somebody else, imagining how they are feeling, imagining what motivated them to behave in certain ways. So let's explore that today in our extract. As always, I will read the extract aloud. Please join me in reading it, and then you'll have the chance to pause the video before answering the questions. So off we go. There are some places you would not want to go. Even if I told you that we have oceans clear and blue as summer skies, filled with sea turtles and dolphins, or forest-covered hills lush with birds that call through air thick with warmth. Even if you knew how beautiful the quiet is here, clean and fresh as a glass bell ringing. But nobody comes here because they want to. My nanny told me that this is how they brought her, but it says it is always the same, no matter who you are or where you come from. From your house, you travel on horse or by foot, then on a boat. The men who row it cover their noses and mouths with cloths stuffed with herbs so they don't have to share your breath. They will not help you on the boat, although your head aches, and 2 weeks ago your legs begin to hurt, then to numb. Maybe you stumble towards them and they duck. They'd rather you rolled over their backs and into the sea than touch you. So it's really a wonderful extract for being full of inferences. That's why I really love this book, is because you can read between the lines so much, as you'll see in the upcoming weeks. Mainly, we're talking about two different sets of characters, aren't we? We're talking about the people who are going to the island and the men who have to take them there. Now, we've already explored certain vocabularies, words such as brought. My nanny told me this is how they brought her. We've talked about nobody wants to come here because they want to. So think about those bits. They're really key. Right, pause the video, replay it if you need to, or read it aloud, and then we'll look at the questions. Right, so 4 questions today, and as you can see from the small image on the left hand side of the screen, there's quite a lot of space to answer these questions. So in terms of if you're giving these marks, we're looking at 2 and 3 mark questions. So we're really thinking about a nice paragraph to answer each question. Obviously, if you are working in your paper pack, then you'll be able to write on these lines. If you need to go over, that's fine, grab another piece of paper. If you're working on Teams, then you'll be able to just type directly onto the document and the lines will move out of the way. Please do make sure that you are doing the bare minimum of filling those lines. You wouldn't be able to answer the question fully if you didn't give an extended answer. And when you're answering, you're thinking of that Year 6 grammar. Now, also, because it's 2D, you must justify with evidence, and lots of the questions do say find evidence. So do refer to parts of the text, putting those bits of the text in quotation marks. Think about how we've done before with like a point, evidence, explain that by going back to the main point. So think of P-E-E-P, peep, point, evidence, explain it, point. For some of them, you might want to give 2 points. So think about the men having that feeling of fear with regards to the people on the boat. There's more than one piece of evidence to support it. So when you go into your point, you might find there's more than one. So get that extract, really analyse it for evidence, thinking about the motives of why people are doing things and the words that enable you to come to this conclusion. Then, once you've had a really good go, these are hard questions, so you're going to have to really persevere, then play the video again and take a look at the answers. Please do, though, really be independent in this and doing it first before you do look at the answers. Otherwise, you know, you'll kick yourself. You'll think, oh my goodness, I could have come up with this conclusion by myself. And the best readers we know really dive deep into the text. And this is one of those books where you could read it and hear the words, or you could read it and understand the words, and it truly does move you when you understand the words. Okay, pause that video now. Right then, so you've had enough time to answer the questions. Let's go through the answers. So they are biggies. You'll see that I've got nice big paragraphs for my answers. So question 1, we've got, what evidence is there in the text that suggests that the writer admires the beauty of the island? So the writer explains that there are multiple wonderful things to see on the island. Now in brackets here I've written the clear oceans, the blue skies, the wildlife and forests. I haven't used quotation marks because I haven't taken the words directly from the text. I've actually paraphrased them and put them into my own words. So continuing with that, so the writer explains there are multiple wonderful things to see on the island, and there are multiple wonderful things to experience. Those things to experience are the warmth and the tranquility, that clear sky and this clear sea, and the fact it says as clear as a glass bell ringing. It's so quiet. The writer spends the vast majority of the first paragraph talking about these things. If you actually look back, there is only the final line, but nobody comes here because they choose to, because they want to. That deviates from the writer talking about the beauty of it. The writer understands that this might tempt the reader into wanting to go by using the phrase, even if you knew, showing that the writer admires the beauty and believes that others would also admire the beauty if they were able to see it. Almost that the writer knows that if the reader saw the beauty, they might even risk going there, even though there's all of these things happening, which mean you wouldn't really want to be there when you looked below the surface. So question 2. The men could be described as being scared of having contact with the people on the boat. Find evidence to support this. I previously said that there's not just one piece of evidence here, and you can see I've actually got 2 paragraphs in my answer. So another nice chunky answer. So the men behave in a few different ways that suggest that they're afraid of the people on the boat. Firstly, they cover their faces in a cloth. This cloth acts as a mask to ensure that they have no chance of breathing in the same air as the people on the boat. Now this, we think of our connections text to world at the moment. Why are we all wearing masks ourselves? It's because we want to make sure that we limit the chance of breathing in the same air as anybody who may currently have coronavirus. So we are protecting ourselves just as these men are. So nice text to world connection and text to self connection there. Then the men in the masks go even further than just wearing the mask, but they put in a big layer of herbs. They actually stuff the mask full of herbs. Stuffed is a word that tells me that there's so much in there it's almost falling out. So they might do this to mask the smell of the people on the boat. If the people smell, they might even do it because they feel that these herbs have medicinal properties that would stop them from contracting whatever it is that they don't want to breathe in. So this is evidence with the words, and then I've written the quotation there in quotation marks. Additionally, the men will not touch the most helpless of people. They will not help you on the boat, no matter how hurt those people will be. And we've seen, that those people are hurting, their heads ache, their legs are numb. They might even have had to be transported on a horse because they can't walk. But even so, those men will not help at all. And they will even duck out of the way if somebody comes too close. Now we know that ducking out of the way is moving your body quickly away from somebody else, showing that fear and the urgency in their movement. They're willing even to watch people die if they fall overboard, and that is evidenced with they'd rather you rolled over their backs and into the sea than touch you. So just imagine how terrified they must be if these men are prepared to watch somebody die, the pain of seeing somebody die, of knowing that they could have prevented it. So that's how terrified that they currently are of catching whatever it is that these people have. Question 3. Based on what you've read, why do you think that nobody comes here because they want to? So this links back to what I kind of touched on in the last one. People are being made to travel whilst they're in pain. That pain that has started 2 weeks before. So they don't seem to be given a choice in the matter. That's why I think nobody comes here because they want to, because they are brought to the island. They're not choosing to come to the islands. And the words, because they want to, really just highlight that there is no choice whatsoever in the matter. Now, question 4. We've touched on this again already. Why do you think that the men on the boat don't want to share breath with people on the boat? Now think about our current circumstances. Why do you want to make sure that your families wear a mask? Why do you want to make sure that you are socially distancing? It's because you're worried about what you're going to get if you don't. So that makes me infer that the men on this boat also feel the same as we all do at the moment in the current circumstances. So through the behaviour of the men on the boat who take drastic measures to ensure that they do not touch or even breathe the same air as the people they're transporting, we can infer that these people are being forced to go to the island because they are in some way contagious and are a danger to others. These men don't want to share breath with people on the boat because those people are dangerous. They are contagious. They have something that the men are afraid of getting. And it must be something really, truly terrifying for them to risk the lives of those people on the boat. So I hope now that you're really intrigued, you're asking the questions, Quentin's popping in my head, oh my goodness, what do these people have? Where are the people going? Why? We will find out. You will stick with us and you will find out exactly what's going on the island at the end of everything. That's the end of today's lesson. That's 4 questions done. It was a heavy one, wasn't it, guys? But hopefully you're hooked. I was hooked by the time I finished reading this. We're going to analyse the front cover tomorrow in order to see what clues we can infer from that. So the inference will continue tomorrow. See you then.